Yes, you do. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Kendra McHale, Development Director here at YWCA Northeastern New York. Thank you all for joining us for another edition of our Donation Impact Interviews. And I'm super excited to have a guest with us today, and I'll get to Wendy here in a second. But for those of you that are not aware of what's going on right now in our organization, we are having a matching gift campaign, People, Purpose, Passion. And basically, we had an anonymous donor will match all donations up to $10,000. And we're really actually excited. We got another anonymous donor to jump on board. So you may see that matching gift number change here in the next few days, but we're super excited. So this series, we're actually interviewing several of our staff members. And so who I have with me today is Wendy Gipchinsky. Did I say that right?
You did say that right.
Wendy's got a bit like a hard last name. So, okay. And she's the Assistant Director of Advocacy and Shelter. So, Wendy, we're super excited to have you.
Thank you.
We're going to jump right in and ask some questions so that everybody gets to know Wendy a little bit more and the services that she oversees. So, Wendy, here we go.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, what program areas do you oversee?
I oversee the Advocacy Department, which is our victim specialist, as well as our shelter.
Wonderful. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. So we want to focus more on the advocacy today for your interview. So tell the audience out here, what does that mean and what type of clients are you serving?
So basically, we are out in the field. Our advocates are out in the field. We are in the Schenectady Police Department, as well as Child Protective Services Department and the Family Court. And we have domestic violence victims, survivors that come to us and receive the help in court in the civil and criminal justice system.
Gotcha.
So we're actually in court with them. Then we provide those services through filing petitions for orders of protection, helping with neglect cases through CPS, going on home visits, as well as family court and criminal proceedings for warrants and so on and so forth with the police department.
Wow. So would you say you have great relationships with those other organizations you partner with?
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Absolutely do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you just reiterate some of those partnerships that you indicated?
So we work with the Schenectady DA's office quite frequently. Probation, Schenectady Probation, the Sheriff's Department. We, like I said, are located within the Schenectady Police Department. So, but we also help with all the town courts as well. So that's Niskayuna, Rotterdam, Niskayuna, and Glenville, Scotia and Glenville. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're in all of those courts.
So our viewers, this is like all of our program services are very important, but I really have a little place in my heart for these particular individuals that work with our clients. Talk about some of the skill sets that our advocates have to have, because it's hard. It's hard.
A lot of self-control when it comes to their emotions. Going into a courtroom and listening to how something can affect a victim, a survivor negatively sometimes is heartfelt. We have to try to figure that out and work with them and meet them where they're at. We have a lot of clients that just want that order of protection for their perpetrators to stay away from them. And sometimes that doesn't necessarily happen right away. So we're doing a lot of safety planning. We're working with them throughout the entire process. So from beginning of the crisis right through to the end of helping them through that last period of moving on. So a lot of safety planning. Our advocates do a lot of research when it comes to, we're not attorneys.
Yep.
We cannot give legal advice, but we definitely help out getting them those services to get them through the process.
Sure. So Wendy and I were just at a meeting earlier today, and you had indicated, and you don't need to mention the dealership, but you had indicated that some of the victims that are actually fleeing their situation, and I don't want to dive too deep into domestic violence, but I just wanted you to touch on what were you finding in vehicles?
GPS systems.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit. Like, this is intense.
Yeah. So this has been going on for quite a long time. The technology has gotten a little bit more advanced to being smaller GPS devices. But I had a client many years ago that when cell phones first started having that GPS part of that, we had found a phone underneath the dashboard of a car that was hooked to the battery. So it was recharging every time. And when our client had came to us and said that she thought that someone was hearing their conversation, their perpetrator was hearing their conversation, we did rip apart the car and find that phone. Now technology has gotten so advanced that we're finding little GPS systems attached to the vehicle. So our dealership that we had worked with just recently did a sweep and didn't find anything, thankfully, on this vehicle, but has found a GPS on quite a few other of our vehicles. So
it's amazing. It's amazing how you don't think of those type of things, but it happens and you see it quite regularly.
Absolutely.
Wow. So I know that your programs are mostly grant funded. So of course we have wonderful relationships with our grantors, and we continue to offer these programs and services because of that. So knowing that for the general public, though, how important is it for us to receive unrestricted donations from our community and partners, especially for your program?
Yeah. Absolutely important. We had a grant that was given to us as a pilot program for our high risk team, which generally looks at cases that can become homicide cases within the county or serious reassaults. After a pilot program is kind of funded, where we need to continue our funding somehow. And for this team to be able to continue to help with alarm systems, to put that extra security on people's homes, definitely funding comes into play when it comes to that, because the money runs out quite quickly when it comes to alarm systems and keeping people safe.
Right. So let's circle back to that. So that's why this campaign is so important, because it is unrestricted funds. And we've heard from a couple other directors and other staff members that say these unrestricted funds fill these gaps that we have trouble with, or we do need that extra money to, like you said, get alarms, or if we need to get new driver's licenses and all the fees that are affiliated with that. So it's so important that everyone take an opportunity and think about our community and think about the individuals we serve and why it is so important to donate. So let's do a flip side of it. So now we've talked about money. Let's talk about in-kind items. So are there anything in your specific program area that the advocates need as far as items?
I mentioned alarm systems. That's probably one of the main things that we need. It's not like we need bus passes are sometimes a good thing, but funds to be able to move people out of the area. Storage units, things like that, yes, we can get maybe back from our supporters, our grantee, our fund, federal funds, but not all the time that's possible. So getting somebody out quickly, having that ability to be able to move them quick. So
I'm hearing if you own trucks, if you own a storage unit,
absolutely.
What else? Oh, an alarm company.
Yes.
Those are all. I know we're having a good time about this, but those are, in all seriousness, those are items that we need. Well,
quick on the move kind of things.
Right. So we've talked about money. We've talked about in-kind gifts. What are some of the future plans in advocacy? I know we're all kind of going through a bunch of stuff right now, but any ideas on expansion?
I would love to expand.
Yes.
Unfortunately, and I say this with a heavy heart, domestic violence is not going to end. We're always going to be needed to support, to be able to guide our clients through the process. I don't see it ever going away. COVID did a lot of damage, but in all reality, it's been going on all along. We didn't get a huge surge, but we kind of did in a way. Now that we're coming out of it, a lot of people are coming forward and needing that extra assistance in sitting in court. Computers are always a good need, but having my advocacy team is amazing. I depend on them a lot, and they do an awesome job. So,
and let's just clarify too: individuals can access these services and not be in our shelter. Correct? They just open to the community folks, and so if you just need an ear to listen,
Absolutely.
They're there.
They don't need to go into our shelter. We don't need for them to be in housing. They can walk in any of those venues. As far as the police department, our officers are phenomenal about referring down to us, right in the offices. The Schenectady County in general will get them to us if need be. But all you need to do is call, and we will be there to support you.
That's wonderful. That's great, Wendy. So before I let you go, these are our quick little interviews. Can you share a success story?
I absolutely can.
Love it. Okay,
yes.
Good.
Just recently, actually, I shouldn't talk about recently, but we actually do. Had a woman that came to me. She was hurt pretty badly. The officers were able to get in contact with me immediately. We were able to get this client out of her home, get her some bus passes to be able to get her someplace safe. She didn't necessarily want to go into shelter, which is not a bad thing all the time. That's up to them. But we were able to get the doctor's visits and things like that set up. She was able to find housing within 3 days, and she's now moving into her own home away from her perpetrator. So we're really happy without stepping foot into a courtroom at this point.
Right.
But that's down the road.
Yeah.
So we'll get her safe first.
Well, that's awesome.
But, yeah.
So this is the kind of great work that Wendy and her team do on a daily basis. And please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach us via our email, Facebook, or you can actually call our location. Happy to share all that information there in our comments. And again, thank you, Wendy, for joining us today. And for those of you watching out there that you haven't made your donation, now is the time. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you later today as we interview another one of our donors. So take care, everyone. Bye.